Among Muslims, there are some who advocate the philosophy of Rumi, some who claim wine that is unlawful by religion is lawful, and some who support the fallacy of Darwinism that denies the fact that God created everything and misrepresents Islam. This wrongful understanding of Islam advocated by some is dangerous for all Islamic world. Muslims should be very cautious against this attempt to disseminate a philosophy that misrepresents Islam. Faisal Abbas, the editor of Al Arabiya English, he advocates Rumism.
Zia Meral lives in London. He is one of those people the Quilliam Foundation gives references to. Turkey and Middle East specialist. Advocates Rumism. He frequently shares quotes from Rumi in his social media accounts.
Iyad al-Baghdadi, Arab Spring activist. He now resides in Norway, where he has received asylum. He advocates Rumism.
Omar Ashur, UK citizen with Egyptian origin. He is a member of Chatham House. He advocates Rumism. He is a senior lecturer in security studies in the University of Exeter.
Mo Ansar, his real name is Muhammad Ansar. He is of Pakistani origin. Since he doesn't want to use the name of our Prophet Muhammad, may God forbid, he prefers the abbreviated form of the name Mo. He advocates Rumism.
Sam Harris. He is an American atheist author, together with whom Maajid Nawaz has written a book and called Habibi, My Beloved. He advocates Rumism. He is an advocate of the new atheism movement. According to this movement, one should oppose to religion and should be kept under pressure.
Hamza Yusuf. He is American. His real name is Mark Hansen. He advocates Rumism. He has been propagandizing Rumism in Turkey for 15 years.
Timothy Winter. He is British. He introduces himself as Abdal Hakim Murad. He advocates Rumism. He teaches Islam in Cambridge University and mainly focuses on Rumism in his lectures.
Anno Bunnik, specialist in intelligence. He is lecturer in university and a commentator about Middle East and conflicts. He advocates Rumism.
C.J. Werleman, Australian atheist author. He advocates Rumism. Surely God is above his claims. He uses very crude words about God, religion, and sacred values that do not befit respect both in his book, God Hates You, and all his other books.
Dimitris Bibikos. He claims to be a Muslim, yet shares photographs of himself taken with a wine bottle in his hand. His postings have propensity for violence and advocates people known with their sexual deviance. He is also known for his comments that are incompatible with the morality of the Quran. He advocates Rumism.
Sarah Maple, British feminist with an Iranian origin. She is a Darwinist and advocates Rumism. Since she tries to humiliate Muslim women in her own way and mock them, she receives the support for this attitude mainly from Maajid Nawaz. Since she has works against Islam, the biggest art galleries in the UK allow her to exhibit her works in them.
Maajid Rafizadeh. He is of Iranian and Syrian origins, known with his books against Islam. He is Darwinist and advocates Rumism. God is surely above all his claims. His book is titled A God Who Hates Women. In his new book that is about to be published, he explains why and how he abandoned Islam, because of his comments that advocate man-to-man sexual relations and those against Islam and Muslims. He receives a special support from some British and American media.
David Lepiska. He is an American freelance journalist based in Istanbul. He was barred from re-entering Turkey on April 25, 2016, because he is in the list of the persons designated to be a threat to enter Turkey. He is known with his prejudiced writings against Turkey. He is a Darwinist and advocates Rumism. He shares postings that regard man-to-man sexual relations as normal in his social media accounts.
Suni Handal. He was born in London and is of Indian origins. He is an author and an academician. He is known with his writings and postings that, in his own mind, mock the beliefs of Muslims and advocates homosexuality. For instance, he shares the caricatures of Charlie Hebdo, in which they, in their own minds, imagine that they are mocking Christians and Muslims. One of his postings that advocated the rise of homosexuals is a photo that shows the LGBT flag raised. Along with this photo, he makes a comment in which he urges Asians to question themselves about anti-homosexuality among them and says, "The United States Supreme Court today legalized gay marriage. History has been made." In other posting, he defines the widespreading of homosexuality among Muslims as an amazing news. Another one of the incidents, Sunny Handal praises the fact that Scotland is the only country in which the majority of political party leaders are either gay or bisexual. Sunny Handal's writings are also shared by Tell Mama Foundation, which advocates homosexuality with praises. Well-known British homosexual Peter Tatchell shares a writing with the title Islam's Great Love Story with Sunny Handal. All this information shows us how a conscious movement is carried out to disseminate homosexuality that got deemed unlawful in the Islamic world.
Yalda Hakim. Born in Afghanistan, Yalda Hakim, who works as a journalist in the UK, is one of those people advocating Rumism. She is the one who prepares a great part of the BBC's shows praising homosexuality and reports about the Quilliam Foundation. Yalda Hakim is also the one who prepared the report about the exhibition organized by the Quilliam Foundation that encourages homosexuality and announces this exhibition in her social media account. Maajid Nawaz in return thanks Yalda Hakim for making news about Quilliam's exhibition. Yalda Hakim, who also writes tweets praising the legitimization of gay marriages in the United States, frequently posts quotations about Rumism. The OBS intelligence organization based in Malta thanks Yalda Hakim for her postings related with Rumi. Thank you, Yalda John. Keep sharing more from great Rumi.
Haras Rafiq. He is the executive manager of the Quilliam Foundation. He advocates Rumism. He claims that irreligious Stalinist PKK should be supported and that this terror organization should be supplied with weapons. He also uses unseemly addresses about Turkish soldiers defending our homeland risking their lives. Gay rights is another topic Haras Rafiq advocates. The speech he gave in the conference titled Interfaith Solidarity LGBT, held at Warwick University in UK, was shared by the well-known homosexual Peter Tatchell. Well-known homosexual Peter Tatchell praises this speech of Haras Rafiq by saying, Haras Rafiqov at Quilliam Foundation speaks out for LGBT, writes at Interfaith Conference. Haydar Zaki, who also is one of those working for Quilliam, says that as Quilliam they will be defending the rights of gays which got deemed as unlawful and shares Haras Rafiq's speech at the gay rights meeting. In a meeting he attended in 2015, Haras Rafiq says the following: we need to make Islamism just as unfashionable as fascism, which we as a society choose to reject. If it is worth tackling racism, tackling homophobia, then it is worth tackling Islamism. Haras Rafiq posts quotes from Rumi in a social media account and sends them to people such as Maajid Nawaz.
Nirvana Mahmood, commentator on the Middle East. Her views in her articles are mostly against Turkey. She advocates Rumism. She writes about homosexual rights. Maajid Nawaz frequently recommends the articles of Nirvana Mahmood and wants everyone to support her. Haras Rafiq of Quilliam invites Nirvana Mahmood to write for Quilliam. This is how Nirvana Mahmood praises Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau's support for LGBT individuals. Mr. Cool, who is pro-gays and pro-Islamists, he would be more magical if he make the Islamists accept gay rights. Gay marriage is something else Nirvana Mahmood supports. She posted, Dear fellow Egyptians, if you are not happy with gay marriage, do not visit the countries that allowed it. Meanwhile, mind your own business. Together with Ed Hussein, they share quotes from Rumi back and forth. Ed Hussein sent Nirvana Mahmood the following quote of Rumi. There are 1,000 ways to kneel and kiss the ground. Mewlana Rumi. Nirvana Mahmood also shared Mustafa Akyol's article published in New York Times with the heading, The hostility of many Muslims toward homosexuality has little basis in the Quran, and said the following, must read by Akyol in English. Sadly, soul searching is in short supply among Muslims, not just about homosexuality.
All this information shows us how a conscious movement is carried out to disseminate homosexuality that got deemed unlawful in the Islamic world. Muslims should be very cautious against this attempt to disseminate a philosophy that misrepresents Islam.